everyone, and welcome church. It's really good to be back with you live this week. We hope you enjoyed that new song from Legacy, which is called King of Kings. And before we start this morning, I just want to say a very personal thank you to all the messages and prayer that I've received whilst I've been unwell. It is really good to be back worshipping with you this morning.
Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be going live into the homes of some of our core family to catch up with them and see how they're doing in this time where we're not able to communicate and be with each other in quite the same way. Someone very clever, I think it was Simon, thought that it'd be good to catch up with people and see what's going on in their lives. So this morning, we're going live to the house of our very own NHS hero, Julie Freeman. So is Julie there somewhere?
Hello, Julie.
Morning.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm more nervous than I was expecting to be, but fine.
But it'd be good to catch up with you. So just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about what life looks like at the minute and how current circumstances have changed work and family living and all those sort of things. So to start with, just what does your day-to-day role look like working in the NHS now, and how has that had to change in light of all the changes with COVID-19?
Well, I guess for me, I can't think that there'll be anywhere in the United Kingdom, or probably other countries as well, where any unit, ward or department in a hospital hasn't changed in some way for COVID. For my unit, it's taken the form of we've been moved from Pontefract to Dewsbury, so a 20-mile journey further away from base. But then within 3 days of doing that, we actually were closed. So for my team, that's meant being dispersed across the rest of the organisation, which you can imagine that's quite an upheaval for people, and not knowing where they're going, whether they're going to a COVID area or whether it's going to be a non-COVID area, has been quite stressful for people. And for me as a manager, because they're like a second family for me, that's been difficult as well, because you take on their worries and their concerns and have many of your own as well. So that's, I suppose, the major thing for me at the moment in terms of my day-to-day. The hospitals themselves are a bit like ghost towns. They're a bit eerie, really, because as we were expecting the places to be overflowing, the impact of COVID is that people just aren't coming with minor things, but equally the concern is they're not coming with major things either. And for me, if I have any message this morning from an NHS point of view, is to say, if you are poorly, you need to see somebody. I think there's two camps. We've got the people who never needed the NHS or certainly the hospital services in the first place, and they're using the hospital as it should be used. But then the more worrying is that people aren't using them when they really should. So if there's anybody out there feels the need to a doctor, they really need to get hold of somebody.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you for that, Julie. And yeah, that definitely, if you are at home, you can apply to you or anyone that you know as well. I think that's helpful to hear that firsthand. What would you say have been the biggest challenges for you personally in this time? I know obviously you've touched upon a lot of your professional, and that is personal too, but are there any other big challenges that you face?
I think, as I say, the work things are a big issue for me at the moment. The dispersal of my team being a big issue. I've been a manager for 20 years and not having that management side of my role now, and that caretaking of people has been quite a bit of a wrench for me, which I didn't think that I would feel quite as intensely as I have done. In terms of, as I say, me personally, I'm working towards retiring and returning at the moment, and that for me is very unsettled at the moment because we don't know what things are going to look like, even in the next couple of months. So the fact that I am intending to retire, I don't know what I'm returning back to at the moment, and the problem is nobody can tell me either, which is a bit unsettling, I think. But obviously, the biggest issues, just like many other people, I'm no different to anybody else, missing family.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd get upset.
No, that's okay. Yeah, definitely missing the girls.
Obviously, I haven't seen the girls for weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my dad for probably a couple of months. He's 87, he lives on his own, and that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
I can't see my notes now either.
Don't worry. I think honesty, to be honest, will be resonating with a lot of people. You know, we're all sharing. Oh, your daughter Kim's just
Absolutely.
said.
Well, that doesn't help, does it?
But yeah, it resonates with all of us. You know, missing just that those encounters with our loved ones and not being able to embrace each other at the moment is something we're all sharing in. So that moves nicely on to our next question, really.
Yeah, at a time of such upheaval and uncertainty, where have you found comfort? Where have the blessings been for you in this experience?
I think one of the major things for me, and I'm not just saying this because we're here today, but I think digital church has been a very big comfort. I think that as much as the Castleford element of that has been absolutely fantastic, and thank you so much for everybody who's making this happen. I think that the fact that you can go on a Sunday onto your social media and you can join a service in Scotland, you can go to Birmingham, you can go to the south of England, you can go anywhere in the country, and it's all because the digital technology has allowed us to do that. So much as I feel as I am a bit of a technophobe of an era that it's a bit alien to me getting onto things like this. I have found a lot of comfort, and I think God has used this forum to speak to us on a lot of different levels and in a lot of different ways. And I don't think there's any day goes by that I don't find something that is personal to me in the emotional or spiritual format that I feel, that those feelings that I have that day, there is no day that goes by when I can't think that was for me today. So all these people I just thank God for that are making this happen and allowing that to happen. And I guess in some ways I get quite surprised that, and I don't know why I should, because God is all powerful, almighty, and all knowing, but there is always something. And I think the other thing for me is and obviously I'm a songster, so I'm going to quote songs. I'm in his hands, and knowing that I'm in his hands brings me comfort.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, and it has connected us to the wider church globally, hasn't it? This pandemic connected us globally. It reminds us that we are an international body of Christ, and that's been an amazing thing to see. So, obviously, you've mentioned I'm in his hands. Is there a particular song or a piece of scripture that you've kind of held or found meaningful?
I've really struggled with this question because obviously I got a little bit of a heads up of what you were going to ask me, and the two CDs that I've been listening to quite a lot recently, certainly over recent weeks, is a CD called Grace, and that's by Sale Songsters, and there's countless numbers of songs on there that there again on a daily basis is a different song that resonates with me. But I've struggled to choose one song, and these both are from Make a Joyful Noise by the ISS, and the one that I was going to choose was one called Oh Love, and I am going to quote the verse that I felt was particularly meaningful, certainly at this time, and that was, "Oh joy that seeks me through the pain, I cannot close my heart to thee, I trace the rainbow through the rain, and feel the promise is not vain, that morn shall tearless be." The image of rainbows is all around us.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of asks the question, do people really know what the symbol of the rainbow means and where it comes from? And I'd like to think there's a lot of people asking that question over the coming days. But the song that I really feel that I want to bring this morning is one called It Is You. And the words are, oh Lord, there are times when I'm so busy, every hour is full each day. That probably isn't quite as relevant at the moment because we've all got a lot of time on our hands, haven't we? There are times when my life is far from easy. It's then I feel your presence and find you always near. Your spirit helps remind me that there's no need to fear. Oh Lord, there are times when I feel helpless and my mind's full of concern, and I think we all feel that just now. There are times when my eyes seem so blinded and I don't know which way to turn. It's then I sense you guiding, your arms, my soul embrace. You make my vision clearer and fill me with your grace. It is you who brings me comfort. It is you who brings me peace. It is you who turns my tears to joy. So my praise will never cease. And I hope that helps other people today.
Yeah.
Powerful lyrics, I'm sure, resonate with a lot of people at the minute with everything that's going on. You can see through the comments that people I'm in his hands and others. I'm sure people will keep sharing lyrics and things that are really meaningful at the minute because it's a great way to just connect and stop and pause and think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those. I suppose the most important last question is, what can we as a church family pray for you and for your colleagues, and what can we do to be as helpful and supportive to you and them at this time?
I found this question actually that is easy to answer, and it's in one word really. It probably will be more than one word, but if I was to encapsulate it in one word, it's protection. My colleagues, I don't class myself as frontline, and I know all NHS are frontline at the moment, but within that front line there is a hierarchy, I guess. And for me, those guys and girls who are working within the high dependency units, the intensive care units, the A&E departments, who know on a regular basis they're walking into a COVID area. And when I say protection, I don't just mean God's protection. I also mean the protection that he will provide for people in terms of PPE. And we all know, we only need to turn the TV on to know that is a big issue at the moment. I know from where I work that I have to wear a plastic pinny whenever I go to a patient. I have to wear a mask every bit of my working day. I can't tell you how uncomfortable that is. And my mask is just a simple surgical mask. These people are wearing plastic mags. They're absolutely nearly almost glued to their faces. You've seen the pictures on the internet of people who've got bruises all over their faces, the discomfort that they are in every day, but the risk that they're taking every day is something that I pray for on a daily basis, and would ask that for my colleagues, and that will be across the country, but for me particularly, my colleagues within the Mid Yorkshire Hospital Trust. It's scary. It's just a really, it's an unprecedented situation, isn't it? And those guys are putting themselves at risk every day, and hats off to them.
Yeah, brilliant. So as a church family, we will definitely commit to praying for those things. For you, we thank God for you. It's so good to connect with you in this way. And yeah, just know that we love you, and God bless you and surround you in this time. And on behalf of the rest of the church, know that we will be praying for you. We will be praying God's protection over fear, and we'll be praying that physical needs for your workers are met as well. But yeah, okay, goodbye for now. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.